we've just reached Feudal Age. The buildings are prettier, the mighty fish trap is available, and the scout goes vroom. More importantly though, economic technologies are available. Militia are becoming man-at-arms, and players can make archery ranges and stables. On open maps without starting walls or barriers, Feudal Age is almost always defined by aggression and defense. While both players will have the objective of 800 food, 200 gold, and 2 Feudal Age buildings to reach Castle Age, the potential to attack the opponent and hamper their progress is too tempting to pass up. While there are many niche strategies, players on land maps will generally go for a mix of 4 main strategies: Scout Cavalry, Archers, Towers, and Defense. Let's go through these one by one. Players rushing with Scouts advance to Feudal Age the fastest, as they only need to optimize their economy for 1 resource, food, and 1 Feudal Age building, the stable. While other strategies often require 20 or more villagers to reach Feudal, a Scout rush advances with fewer most of the time. Combined with the fast movement speed of Scouts, this makes for an attack that hits opponents quickly, ideally before they're fully walled. Unfortunately, the Scout is otherwise a weak unit. 45 hit points and only 5 attack means solitary Scouts often die to groups of villagers, and they're killed in 3 hits from a Spearman. Spearmen often frustrate Scout rushes, as many build orders include a barracks, so the opponent can easily make a few Spearmen. Meanwhile, each Scout costs a whopping 80 food, a full 10th of the food cost of Castle Age. For these reasons, players rarely commit to more than a handful of Scouts. Ideally, with those Scouts harassing the opponent, a player can use their food-heavy economy to reach Castle Age at a good time, then use existing stables and cavalry upgrades to smoothly transition into knights. When a player does want to stay in Feudal Age with Scouts, they'll often add an archery range to make archers or skirmishers who can safely kill the enemy spearmen. Players making archers transition earlier to wood and gold, as archers don't cost food. With a good economic balance, players can keep 2 archery ranges working for almost the entirety of Feudal, building up huge military numbers. This transition usually requires more villagers, so archers really pair well with Dark Age aggression, like militia or man-at-arms. Archers have a ranged attack that can shoot over walls or wood lines, so the defending player often needs additional defenses. Thankfully, archers are also slow and ineffective in small numbers, so a defender generally has more time to prepare. It takes 20 arrows for archers to kill a single villager, or 14 with fletching. Combine that with low accuracy at a distance, and it takes a large amount of archers to do any meaningful damage. Now, Scouts will do okay against small numbers of archers, but the high cost of Scouts often isn't worth it. The Skirmisher is the strongest counter to archers, and they deal 5 damage per shot to archers, while they only receive 1 damage in return. The downside is that Skirmishers are weak against basically every other unit. A player who makes too many Skirmishers is left with a basically useless unit once they arrive in Castle Age, while the Archer player can upgrade to Crossbowmen. Upgrading an existing army of archers into crossbowmen is one of the most powerful parts of an archer rush. The crossbowman is such a good unit in large numbers that players might actually avoid combat to protect their archer army until Castle Age. Making a defensive tower is like a get-out-of-jail-free card when attacked by a Feudal Age rush. If a player doesn't quite get walls around their gold or wood, a tower can hide villagers and even fight back, giving the defender a moment to breathe. It comes at a steep price though, beyond the 125 stone cost. See, players only start with 200 stone, and town centers cost 100 stone each. One of the strongest strategies in Castle Age is to make 2 additional town centers and produce villagers. A player forced to tower can't afford any additional town centers without mining more stone, which could slow down their economy as much as the rush would have anyway. Towers have a second, sneakier use though. A tower rush, or trush, sends villagers forward, with or without military protection, to build towers at their opponent's base in Feudal Age. Usually, these towers are made next to important resources like gold or stone. There aren't many good options to fight back against buildings in Feudal Age. Villagers are often the best siege units outside of waiting for Castle Age. Now, a trush is powerful when it works, but it does wreak havoc on the Tower Rusher's economy, with multiple villagers at home stuck on stone, while 5 or more are constantly building at their opponent's base. Sometimes, patiently surviving a tower rush is enough to beat it. We've already talked about the defensive options players have in Feudal Age: walling, spearmen, skirmishers, towers. But we haven't talked about defense as a strategy. Sometimes, instead of a rush, players want to get through Feudal Age as quickly as possible. While any strategy needs to be ready to defend from a rush, it's most important for a fast castle strategy. If you were to build stone walls around your entire base, that would probably guarantee that you could reach Castle Age, but unless this is Arena where players start with them, this is too expensive to be realistic. Good defensive play is about investing just the right amount. Make too few walls or units, and you're liable to lose villagers or resource access. Make too many, and you'll spend all the resources you needed for Castle Age. Making the right amount of defenses, of course, always comes back to scouting. If an army reaches a player's base, it's probably too late to start walling or making military production buildings. Spotting production buildings, or armies on the move, is key to making the right decisions. Luckily, units like spearmen and skirmishers are cheaper and quicker to train than the units they counter. But making 20 spearmen to counter what turned out to be 3 scouts is an overinvestment, and sometimes it means the rusher ends up faster to Castle Age. With Castle Age comes new units and technologies that demolish feudal armies. The sheer power of knights, mangonels, or even a defensive town center can be enough to completely secure a base, meaning sometimes the best defense is just stalling for time with a good economy that can reach Castle Age quickly. Hey, thanks for watching. I know this series has been focused on open maps like Arabia, but I do really love Nomad, Water Maps, Arena, all the others, so I'd really like to make videos specific to them in the future.